And just a week ago, the princess is still sitting in the center of the stage, performing the lute for the audience. But a flea suddenly jumped onto the back of the king's hand. It made him laugh out loud. Don't wait for my daughter to finish playing. He took the little pet back to the bedroom. Impatiently take out the magnifying glass, obsessively watching fleas feed on blood. Not only did he place a luxury villa for him, he even made a miniature carriage. Let the fleas run on their backs for fun. I'm not stingy with the king. Not only will the head circumference wait for the stake to each other, raise the doting concubine in vain, there will even be regular and fixed-point physiotherapy massages for them until the increasingly robust fleas become unwell. The king summoned an attending physician urgently. Don't wait for the other party to ask about the patient's situation. She was dragged into the room by him. Wait for the doctor to turn around, but he was scared into a cold sweat by the fleas in the plot. But in the face of the king's orders, he can only hold back his fear. Careful diagnosis with a stethoscope confirmed that the flea eats too much and does not digest it. He hurriedly took out the tools for treatment. As a result, the flea's breathing stopped abruptly. Watching the beloved concubine who accompanied each other leave, the king instantly evokes endless thoughts. For the fleas to function fully, he suddenly had a bad idea in his mind. Sincerely tell your daughter, I have found a way to choose my concubine, but secretly put the skin of the job hopping, launch a grand animal quiz game. Promise that as long as someone can recognize this skin, we'll betroth the princess to him. But there are suitors from Yonglu in the hall, but no one ever guessed, until a rampaging savage appeared. Only then did the king suddenly come to nature. But what he didn't expect was, savages who live in the forest all year round. The nose is very sensitive. There's no movement. Just lean over and smell it. Immediately shout out that it is flea skin. And when he heard this, the king's face changed greatly. After realizing that the savage guessed correctly, the princess was so frightened that she ran to the rooftop of the palace, planning to jump off the roof, avoid this outrageous engagement. But the king who followed him advised him to calm down. After all, as the king of a country, what you say must count. Even the princess is no exception, and consider the big picture. The unwilling princess. I can only leave with the savage in tears. However, the princess did not know what awaits him in the future will be extremely painful torture. Can carry the princess on the cliff. After coming to his cave full of bones, he completely exposed his true nature, forcibly dragged the princess to the bedroom, relentlessly released the brutal criminal police, and afterwards the princess was completely devastated. Crouching alone on the cliff, he scolded his father for his reckless decision. However, just as he was about to jump off the cliff to commit suicide, but I saw a woman standing on the other side. He dared not hesitate at all, hastily informed the other party of his experience for fear of waking up the sleeping savages in the cave. And when a woman realizes this, he quietly dispatched his son to the opposite bank, princess shivering on her back. But just as the two returned along the tightrope, the savage was disturbed by the princess's cry. Seeing the princess who was finally welcomed, sneakily carried away by a man, he grabbed the rope and gave chase. But apparently it's too late. After the man successfully rescued the princess to the other side, he actually cut the hemp rope directly with the enemy's hand. However, just when everyone thought the crisis was over, when taking the princess home in a carriage, the savage who was thrown and still has a trace of breath, but suddenly rushed out from behind them, the two coachmen were executed on the spot, and the terrified mother and son duo hastily lead the princess to escape into the mountains and forests, but still can't escape the claws of the savage. Strongly grabbed by the neck, Terrier dies. You can see behind the scenes of this incomparably violent, the princess became adorable, said he would obediently go home with the savages to make dolls. I saw his sincere face. The savage was instantly moved with pity. But in the dark, he was about to carry the princess and leave. The other party suddenly took out the dagger, ended his life of sin, and the story ends. The princess drags a dress full of blood, bright and choking into the palace, watching her daughter tortured by savages. The king seems to have been repented by a thunderbolt, so he immediately took off his crown, let the imperial teacher wear it solemnly for his daughter, decided to let the princess take his place, manage this great river and mountain at your feet. Not only did he give his daughter a satisfactory explanation, it also makes up for the mistakes it is